Hey everybody, Ira Miller here. For those of you who might be new to our Monday Night Live YouTube channel here with Homes Around the Village's YouTube channel. And I want to wish all of you a Happy New Year. So I'm going to have to, we're doing something a little bit new tonight. I have a little guest speaker who hasn't arrived yet, so we're going to kind of waste a little bit of time. Anyway, are you going to be monitoring your laptop or?
That will just be for you to read the chat.
Okay.
But you can read it right now on the screen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, great. So, want to wish everybody a very happy new year. This is January 3rd, 2022. I dressed for the occasion for the new year. Wanted to kind of start it out right, so I kind of got don't have the tie, but I did get into the suit for all of y'all. So, like I said, I have a guest speaker coming. It's a surprise. So I'm going to do a couple first things first here before we get going. I got a few cards in the mail, so I do want to take this opportunity to thank the people who did send me a card. Look, I'm not advocating cards, guys. I just want to acknowledge the ones that did send me a card. So I just think it's appropriate. So I got this card, and that is from Claire and Carolyn. Really sweet folks. I can't even count how many homes I've sold Claire and Carolyn. I think maybe 5. I'm up to 5 now. But dear Ira, wishing you and your family a wonderful Christmas and prosperous New Year. May the beauty of this Christmas season surround you with love, peace, and hope. Love, Claire and Carolyn. That was very sweet of them to send that to me. Georgia sent me a really nice card. Okay. And Georgia's card. Look up on a starry night and you will see the majesty and power of the infinite creator. That was Billy Graham. Ira, praying your Christmas season is filled with the wonder and awe of Jesus. Have a blessed Christmas and prosperous New Year. Georgia Howard. So Georgia, I want to thank you for taking the opportunity and your precious time for sending me a Christmas card. All right, so let's see. Wait a minute. Get rid of this. What is this? Oh, we have one more. Kevin and Karen. Hold one moment. Kevin, I know you're on here. Happy New Year to everyone, he says. And again, Kevin, Karen, this was over the top. You really didn't have to do this. And again, guys, I'm not doing this to promote you to be sending me anything, but Karen and Kevin. Jax sent this to me, and so I just could not pass up the opportunity to show y'all. I got a whole box of goodies. And yes, I've already got into these Lindors, which are pretty awesome. So Kevin and Karen, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Kevin says for you, no, for you and your staff. I'm not sharing this stuff. This is all mine. Just kidding. I'm sure the girls and Christian would love to dive into that. So look, I've been on vacation since Thursday before Christmas, right? So I have not been in the office. I've stayed away from the office. So when I walked into the office today, I was greeted with that. And Paige made sure that the first thing I got when I walked in were these Christmas cards. So thank you to those who sent those Christmas cards. Thank you, Kevin and Karen. I really appreciate that. That was way more than you really should have. And so I really thank you for doing something like that. So I am a chocoholic. I have been trying to cut down, you guys, but I guess it's not going to happen now for at least another month. So thank you so much again. All right. So let's see. Alaska John. Let's go to some of our chats real quick, and then we'll kind of come back to some news topics or whatever. So Alaska John, Florida sounds nice this time of year. Too cold in Alaska. I enjoy your videos. Take care. Well, Alaska John, I hope you didn't just kind of jump on and leave. Hope you kind of stick around for a little bit. But I don't think I'd want to be in Alaska. And then Kevin says, hello everyone from cold Rhode Island. And we did get a little cool front through here, well, early this morning while we were sleeping. I could hear the rain hitting the house as I was trying to sleep. And woke up this morning, nice cool weather. So that was really refreshing to us here in, how cold did it get?
I think it was 59 this morning.
Christian says it was 59. It shows that it's 67, I think it said. Ocala. A cold 61 degrees here in Ocala. Well, wait a minute, it kind of dropped. Now it's at 55. And I guess it's going to get into the 40s. So don't you all feel bad for us here in Florida because of how cold it's gotten? Yep, 43 degrees is what it's supposed to get to. Anyways, sorry to rub it in. It is what we do here in Florida because we do love our state and we love our weather for sure. So anyone who's thinking about coming down, come on down. All right, so we talked to Kevin, Teresa, Happy New Year to you. Donna heard, hi Ira, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Donna, to you too. Thank you so much for that. And Jerry Bell, he's one of our regulars. Really appreciate you, Jerry, coming on, jumping on again today. Love having you guys. So Jerry says the time off suited me well. So here's what I've been doing my whole time off. Somehow, some way, I have no idea how this happened. I got some bulging discs in my neck. So I've been fighting that issue. I've been going to 2 physical therapists, 1 acupuncturist, a massage therapist. I saw a neurosurgeon. Luckily, he was on board with me, and he's not ready for me to do any surgery just yet, so I'm happy about that. So anyways, so that's all the good stuff I've been doing while I was off. All right, anyways, Jerry, thank you so much for the compliment. I appreciate that. Sandy K, Happy New Year. Hoping to do business with you later this year. Love to have you, Sandy. Come on down to the great state of Florida. So Debbie Straniero. Sorry, Debbie, you kind of butchered your name. Debbie Straniero. Happy New Year. So Debbie, I think he might be new to our channel, so welcome. Extra time at the gym after those treats. Yeah, I've been doing this. I have been battling not only this neck bulging disc at the gym, but that's one of my ways of trying to combat that for sure. All right, and then Kevin, I don't think I got any. Did I get any new pictures of Geo, who we kind of take this opportunity to go through? Let's see. Kevin. Oh, no, he just sent me pictures of his new grandchild. Okay, so that is a sweet looking little baby there. So you can see the new grandchild there. It's the four-legged brand. Nice little baby shepherd. That's awesome. That's his new grandson. But what's his name, Kevin? You didn't tell me what his name was. Straniero means stranger in your own country. Ooh. So hopefully that's not the case. All right, so listen. I started the show out saying we had a guest that was going to come in and kind of sit down and hang out with us for a little bit. So I want to introduce you to our guest speaker over here. All right, so guess who this is? This would be my daughter.
Hi, everyone.
Miss Jamie Miller. Oops, I kind of turned our mic down there. So this is Jamie.
Hi, everyone.
I know women don't like you to tell what their age is, but she's 22 years old, in college, getting ready to go back to FSU, and so
Go Knowles.
I thought I taught her better than that, but I guess not. Because Gainesville is only like 45 minutes away from our house, and so we were
Yeah.
Gator fans. But
Almost.
you know what? It is what it is. We love our daughter. We love the Knowles now.
That's right, we do.
So they've taken very good care of her. So Jamie started with me when she was 16 years old. I wanted to kind of tell a little story. I always tell this story.
Even, honestly, a little bit younger if you're taking it back to, like, the days when I used to go to all your appointments with you, so.
Or how about even all the customer appreciation parties?
Yeah, 100%.
So she used to be running around when she was this big,
Yep.
meeting and greeting everybody.
Yep.
So she's been in the business her entire life.
Yes.
And so the story I like to say is she actually did go to Gainesville to try to get into University of Florida. She went up to Santa Fe Community College to get started because she needed a few extra credits to get into UF. And she got up there and she's like, Dad, I can't find a job.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I was looking, and I mean, you know, I always like the quick buck. So I was going to go and work in the restaurant business, and you're like, no, just stick to what you know, stick to what you know. So real estate is where I ended back up at.
Well, see, and so just kind of regressing a little bit, she was working for me up till about, what, 19?
18, 19, something like that, yeah.
And like she said, she wanted the quick buck.
Yeah.
So she went down to Lake Sumter Landing here in the Villages and got her a little job at RJ Gators, for any of you who know the Villages. And she was a server at RJ Gators for, a year and a half?
I was there for probably like a year consistently, and then went back whenever they needed me. I just stopped like within this last year. So
Yeah, so when she would get off school, she'd go down and fill in over there and give some people a break.
yeah.
You know how they kind of need servers these days anyways.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So she's like, Dad, she thought she was going to go to Gainesville and get her a little serving job at a restaurant. Little did she know, every other college kid in that town had those server jobs
Yes.
all wrapped up.
Yeah.
No server jobs for you.
No.
So she goes, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't find a job. I said, Jamie, you've worked for me how many years? I don't know, 5 years, 6 years? Anyway, at that time.
At that point, yeah. Because I really started when I was like 15, but truly started when I was 16. So, yeah.
So I told her, I said, get your resume, take your resume around to every real estate brokerage in Gainesville, and they're going to give you a job. I mean, her experience is very unique.
I would agree to that. And actually, that's what got me my job.
Exactly.
So, I mean...
That she has to this day.
Yeah, I still work with them. So, yeah, I mean, that was a tough one. That was a little discouraging because none of the brokerages were calling me back or emailing me or anything like that. And I was literally physically taking in my resume because you said, well, you need to go in there and just physically give them your resume.
Yeah.
And so I did. And I still...
follow up.
Yeah, and call people and email and all that. And I was doing all that and I still wasn't getting anything. And then finally, Rebecca reached out and was like, oh, come and work, here, come in for an interview. So I did. And she's like, we weren't even going to hire you. This was just practice. But because you had been in real estate for so long and your background, like your family background in real estate was so extensive, she was like, I knew you'd be a great fit for us.
I think she really just wanted to see if she was lying. She's like, this can't be true. She can't have this much experience, and just wanted to call her out on it.
Yeah.
And found out, ooh, she really knows a lot more than what she probably even put down on paper.
Yeah. I probably did because I was trying to make, nobody wants to sit there and read like a super long resume. So I had like a lot more experience that I could give, and it's still helping to this day because now they've transferred over to the Stellar MLS and nobody knows how to use it but me.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. Gainesville just went from...
Gakar. They were...
Well, Ocala was the first one to switch over to Stellar from... What was that other MLS, Christian, that we were...
Flex
MLS. So it's really kind of weird. We all have all kind of different MLSs, but Stellar MLS seems to be taking over Florida. So that's where we've always worked. When she worked for me, we worked in Stellar, and Ocala had a different MLS, a Flex. It was called Flex MLS. Gainesville has a different one. Citrus County has a different one. So Stellar finally got Ocala to come over.
Yeah.
And so now I was able to work within one MLS in both Ocala and here instead of working in two different MLSs. And then Gainesville finally came over.
Just recently, in 2021, the end of 2021, they made the transition, which I loved.
All the agents were
Stellar.
freaking out.
Yeah, none of them were okay with it by any means, and they still are not okay with it. But to me, it's like so much easier than their system, and they're like, no, our system was better. But I'm like, no, Stellar. Stellar is it.
Right. So, so that's what we did, and she went ahead and got a job. Now, she's working for a competitor. But up in
competitor, but whenever there's any sort of referral, I, tell you about it and Rebecca sends it to you if there is any, and then vice versa. You've sent Rebecca some stuff too.
Right. So we kind of
it all works out.
Work across the platform.
And I help you whenever you need it.
She does.
You don't ever need it because you have such great people helping you, but if you do need it, I'm there for you.
I've been blessed with good working people, starting with you.
Yes.
So,
me and Kaylin.
Yeah. Oh, that's starting with Kaylin, actually.
Yeah. I got to give credit where credit's due because Kaylin was in there before I was.
Yeah. And Kaylin worked for me for 5 years. So then Rebecca the broker over at Rebel Realty. We'll give Rebel a shout out. How's that?
I gave you a shout out.
So Rebecca, Jamie was telling Rebecca about our Monday Night Live here.
Mm-hmm.
And so Rebecca decided, we're going to go ahead and try that. And so Jamie, was it last week?
So last week, not this past week, but the week before Christmas.
She was on their they're calling it a podcast.
Yeah, we call it a podcast. Yeah.
But you're on video, right?
Yeah, but it's just like this. It's essentially a live stream. Yeah.
So podcast to me is just over radio or whatever.
I know. I think of it as a live stream too, but.
So I said, well, if you're going to go ahead and do a podcast with Rebel, you need to come in here and do a podcast for us.
Yeah, and you snagged me right before I went back to school.
Yep, so she's going back tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow, finishing out her senior year.
Yep, my last semester.
Going into her master's.
We hope.
And I'm going to try to talk her into an MBA. So, anyways, I wanted to kind of introduce you to my daughter and kind of tell you a little bit about, what she does. And she's working, with a company. And now, even though she's in Tallahassee, she still works for Rebel in Gainesville. Mm-hmm. Do they have an office in Tampa still?
Yeah, so they have an office in Tampa, Gainesville, and then I'm trying to get them to go to Tallahassee, but they're not budging on that.
So we have some connections if anybody decides they're going to go to Tampa or Gainesville.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They'd be more than happy to help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have plenty of help. Like she said, she fills in you filled in last year, right?
Yeah, and then a little bit this year because we kind of had a lag and people, it's hard to, keep people sometimes because
wait a minute.
This
year is only 3 days old.
Well, 2021. I know. I was telling Mom, I was like, oh yeah, we should do that. She was talking about the lights for St. Augustine, and I was like, oh yeah, let's do that next year. And she was like, well, why can't we do it this year? And I was like, no, this year. That's what I meant. 2022, this year.
It's
this
that
year.
Confusing time of the year.
Yes, where I'll put the date wrong.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, we have a lot of people saying, Kevin. So Kilo, let me just kind of back up just a little bit. So the baby shepherd, Kevin's new grandson, his name is Kilo. I like that name. That's cool. And then Kevin says, hi, Jamie. Teresa says, hi, Jamie.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, Teresa.
Angie says, hi, Jamie.
Hi,
Sandy
Angie.
says, hi, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. And
Hi, Sandy.
Donna says, hi, Jamie.
Hi, Donna.
So I want to ask, how many people were on Rebecca's podcast?
What do you mean, like guest stars or?
No. How many people
like viewers. So it fluctuates every week. They kind of do it.
They're just starting out, right?
Yeah, so they are just starting out. They've only been doing it the past 6-7 months, I think maybe. But they put it in the middle of the day. So yeah, I might have to tell them they need to do it a little bit later, but they get probably between 12 people. When I went on there, I had 17, 20, something like that, because all my friends then went and watched it. So yeah.
And how many do they have a YouTube channel?
They do, but they don't utilize it, and that's something that Rebecca always talks to me about. She's like, how can I get on your dad's level of YouTube?
Let me just say, no, she cannot have Christian.
Listen,
I'm going to tell you right up front.
She's going to go back and look at this. So you've outed Christian now. I've been keeping your secrets. You just outed Christian. So
Rebecca, no, you can't have Christian.
She asks me all the time. She's like, "Oh, that's great. How does he do that? How does he do this?" And I'm like, oh, I don't know. His YouTube is all him. I have nothing, which is true. I don't have anything to do with your YouTube channel. So
No.
I'm just a subscriber.
You just have to hire somebody like I did, Rebecca, and
A Christian.
you have to hire a Christian, but not my Christian.
Yes.
So that's. But anybody who watches this do we want to call it a podcast?
I don't know. What do we call it? A live stream.
Everybody knows Christians. So
Yes.
we've even had to have Christians sit in on. Well, I wrote a contract a few live streams ago, right? So, all right. So let's see. Oh, Kevin just, I guess, texted me. So he doesn't want there to be any favoritisms, right? All right, so let me do this. We do this every week. There's little Geo, baby Geo. Whoops. There's the man. That's the future realtor, Kevin. There he is.
Aww.
The latest and the greatest. So,
So cute.
yep. So we should. There's the grand dog. Actually, I should have.
You'll have to show Mom Kilo.
Yeah. All right. So what do we want to talk about tonight? Anything?
I don't know. You had mentioned the one thing that haunts me in my sleep is Fizbos.
Oh yes, for sale by owners.
Yes.
So I think did we do a video on for sale by owner? I think we did.
We've done so many videos on for sale by owners.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know y'all have done a bunch. on
So
this
look,
list.
yeah. So that's the thing. You know, actually, here's the deal. I wrote 2 contracts, and as you all know, I've always said cash is king, right?
Oh, for sure.
So I wrote 2 contracts over the weekend for Sherry, and the first one, they came back and they said, "Well, we'll go ahead and accept Sherry's contract, but we want to keep the home on the market and see if we can market it to somebody and get a higher offer."
I've heard that so much lately. Like, that has been probably the top sentence that I've heard through this whole market. Because people just they're scared. Like, they will sit there and, like, deny offers because they want to get, like, $20,000 over asking price because they've heard their friend get $20,000 over asking price. And that's a big thing, like, with for sale by owners. So, you know.
Well, they're also, what they're doing too is they'll put a home on the market at a lower price just to get multiple offers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll say, well, you know, it might be Tuesday. Well, we're going to wait till Friday
Yep.
before we make a decision on what offer that my seller wants to go with. So they're trying to get all these offers all lined up, and they wait. They wait for days in this market to try to get the highest and best offer that they can.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not taking the first offer anymore. You know, it's most of them are just usually waiting. And unless you're either at full asking price or over asking price and you're cash,
Yep.
they're probably not going to take your offer as the first offer that they come in with. So even though we might have you set up on an auto email where you're getting listings sent to you, if you're not a cash buyer, then we are going to have to offer over and above asking price to make it more attractive to the seller. And we do that on an individual basis, right? So when you're ready, if any of you out there are ready, or Sandy, like you said, you're going to be coming down and seeing us soon, we're going to work with you one-on-one, and I'll kind of tell you some little ins and outs on what we're going to need to do to get a home for you. Mm-hmm. I did put a video out not too long ago that said that we were going to we'll set you up on an auto email, and even though you might not see a home that you're, like a lot of people go to realtor.com, homes.com, Zillow, Trulia, and looking for homes. A lot of times you won't find the home you're looking for, and so we'll set you up on an auto email, and then when we finally send you, a home close to what you're looking for or exactly what you're looking for, I told you, then we can jump on that. So there's ways of getting around multiple offers, and we'll share that with you. I don't want to reveal that today because we don't want our competition knowing what we do for you. So that's why I kind of hold that back and work with you on a one-on-one on an individual basis. So, and then for sale by owners, that's another source of homes out there that I don't think a lot of realtors tell their buyers about, because not all for sale by owners are going to work with a realtor, or a real estate agent might not be upfront with the for sale by owner. And so what I do when there's a for sale by owner, so I'll look in our inventory in the MLS, and if I don't see anything, set you up on an auto email. And also we'll look in to the for sale by owners and see if there's anything out there that might be similar to what you might be interested in. So then I have to call the for sale by owner up, and I have to say, hey, I'm Ira Miller, I'm a real estate agent, and trust me, right off the bat, I know what's going through their head, because so many real estate agents are just trying to get the listing.
Yeah, they think it's like a sales call, like you're calling them because you want to take over their listing.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of them will even lie and say that, oh, I've got a buyer. Would you consider working with me? Can I come over and see your home or whatever, and try to get them to list the home with them?
Yeah.
So when I call them up, I know right away what they're thinking, and I'm just like, look, I have a buyer, I have this YouTube channel, and I explain the whole thing to them, and I kind of just, get them to realize that I'm not just one of those people trying to get their listing from them. I really do have a buyer, but that is a good source, especially in today's market, because so many people think, I don't need a realtor.
Yeah.
I can stick a sign out in my front yard and sell my home like that, which is kind of true, So most for sale by owners will work with a realtor.
Yeah. I think personally it takes a little bit of convincing, because they are doing a for sale by owner because they don't want to have to pay the commission. They don't want to have to go through like the headache of everything. But I don't know. I think it just kind of depends. But I think most of them can be like persuaded to not, have you take over their listing by any means, but allow you to bring in that buyer, because you're trying to find somebody to buy your house. So.
And it depends on how long it's been on the market, too.
Oh, for sure.
If it's been on the market over a week, they might be getting a little nervous, So then they're more apt to work with you than in the first few days of going on the market. So, but and so, okay, so where do we find for sale by owners? Well, first, the best place to find a for sale by owner is in Zillow. Zillow has for sale by owners.
But what's crazy is when I was working for you, not that long ago, the best place to find them was the newspaper too. We found so many for sale by owners in the newspaper, and now it's like nobody really goes to the newspaper anymore. So that like blows my mind, because you used to always make me go get the paper and look for sale by owners in the paper.
Why? So, because we were trying to get the listing at that point.
Yeah.
Right. But we really do work with so many buyers now, just thanks, to this YouTube channel. And so I don't even really go after listings all that much anymore. I just kind of like working with buyers and using my experience and my expertise to help you get your dream home.
Yep.
So, but again, we're coming full circle with
We
that
are.
for sale by owner, because now in this market, so many people just think, hey, but one of the problems with for sale by owners too is that they're overpriced.
Yes.
So first of all, you're working with somebody who really doesn't know what they're doing as far as selling a home. And what I don't get is a lot of them, they're out there. They set themselves up because it's kind of dangerous too to have a for sale by owner.
I think so too, because they're like, for people, because I will talk to my friends about it all the time, real estate, because they'll ask me about stuff and whatever, and people don't realize, and it's crazy to me, but since I know, it's, what I mean, but they don't know, if you overprice your home, even if someone comes in, it might not appraise out to be that much, and then there's an issue. And then sometimes they miss inspections, or they don't know that you need inspections. And there's just so many other things. And then too, like, if, someone's coming in and they want to make, changes to the house, or they want the roof replaced, then, a lot of the times they are going to say no, and then there's issues with that. So it's just a lot of headaches, I feel like, for sale by owners go through, personally.
Well, and if there's some people out there looking to rob you,
Right, yeah.
there could be a man and a woman come knocking on your door. Hey, are you looking to sell your home? And a for sale by owner is going to say, yeah, come on in. And then the man goes this way and the woman goes that way. And so you, as the seller, trying to sell your home, you don't know which way to go. Mm-hmm. And, they can just be going through your house and stealing stuff, and you wouldn't even know it. Mm-hmm. So it's not always a smart idea to do a for sale by owner. And then, if you don't know what you're doing as far as pricing your home, then you're susceptible to it just sitting on the market. There's a lot of variables, but going back to a good source of inventory for our buyers, that is a good source. So I want to go back and kind of help all of you who are watching, this live stream, and say, if you're looking for a home and you're in Zillow and you're or Realtor.com or Trulia or one of the online websites, and you're looking, because so many people call me and they say, hey, I found a home, can you go check it out for me? And so a lot of people are looking on these online websites for homes, but I think a lot of them don't even think about looking under the buyers section at the top, and looking under for sale by owner. But here's the secret. If you are looking for homes and you do come across a for sale by owner that you're interested in, if you reach out to that seller and say, hey, I'm looking at your home, I see you have a home in, let's say, the Villages, and I'm really interested in it, that seller's going to say, okay, yeah, great, where are you? Well, I'm up here in Rhode Island, where Kevin is, and can't get down there, but I'm going to send my realtor over there. Well, it's kind of too late at that point. They already know they have somebody that's interested. They already know they have a buyer, and they're going to say, no, I don't work with realtors. That's why I'm doing it myself. So it really needs to be me calling first. If you make that first phone call, it just disrupts the whole flow of things. Mm-hmm. So if you call me first and say, hey, Ira, I saw this home, it was a for sale by owner, and will you go ahead and check it out? I'll call that seller, and then I'll go into, the narrative of what I just said to you is, I'm a realtor, I have a buyer, would you be interested in working with me? I'll do the contract for you. You don't have to pay anybody to do the contract. I'll walk everybody through the whole process, and it'll be neat and clean. And most of them, like I said, are more than happy to pay me a reduced commission. It is a reduced commission that I can, persuade them to work with me on. But you know what? It is what it is, right? I'm not having to do a lot of work and they're saving the seller's realtor commission side. So it's a kind of a win-win situation. So that's why most of them work with us and don't have a problem with it. So like I said, maybe the ones that are like just fresh on the market, they might have a little bit of an issue at first, but I think that eventually, if it's on there more than a week, they're going to work with us anyways.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So anyways, that's a little tip for everybody that's watching today is look for those for sale by owners. Let me know first, and then I'll be making that phone call. I'll be going over there. And if you're not here, I'll be going over and taking a video. Okay, so, and sending you the video. But it gives me the opportunity to work with both parties, you and the seller, doing videos. And so it's again, it's a win-win situation. Thank you, Christian. There you go,
Thanks,
my dear.
Christian.
So listen, does anybody have any questions? I'm looking here at our chat. I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions. I guess you're doing a whole lot of listening, which is good.
You have a lot to say. A lot of informative things.
Hey, it is my New Year's and Christmas present to everybody out there. So I do, somebody said, who was it? Peter says, I like On Top of the World. Well, as a lot of you may know, I like On Top of the World as well, and there's many reasons why. And so Stephen McShane is asking, hi Ira, is On Top of the World still using a lottery system? All right, let's go to Peter. Let's go back to Peter first of all, about On Top of the World. So, On Top of the World, it's smaller than the villages. It's more manageable than the villages. One of the things I wanted to touch base on were rentals as well. And so you can rent a home here in the villages by the day, by the week, by the month, by the year. You can do Airbnbs, and in the wintertime, you have a ton of people that are renting short term. Not so in On Top of the World. You cannot rent a home in On Top of the World any less than 6 months in a day. Okay, so what does that do? That helps keep a lot of traffic from going in and out of On Top of the World. It keeps it more of a just a community of people who live there. That's their primary residence. Whereas in the villages, it's a little more.
I think On Top of the World is more of a slower family-like setting, if that makes sense. So like with the 6 months, it allows people, the same people, to be within the community. So you know all your friends around you, you know your neighbors. Whereas the villages is extremely fast-paced. They have a lot to do here. And then you just see, I feel like it's harder to see the same people unless you're actively making an effort, with your friends to, see the same people. So it's, and when I've talked to a lot of customers, they have said we kind of prefer On Top of the World because, we're up there in age, or we don't want to do all the activities that the villages has to offer. We want to be in a more slower paced environment, but they still have a lot to offer.
Let me just kind of correct you a little bit, because it really isn't.
You don't think so?
It's not a slower pace, although a lot of the renters who come here, they're all about the party.
Yeah.
So it is a huge party atmosphere.
I guess that's what I'm thinking of.
Especially in the wintertime. Whereas On Top of the World has the same amenities, if not more.
Yeah.
And I can kind of name a few. Number one, they have an indoor pool at On Top of the World. They don't have an indoor pool. As big as the villages is, there is no indoor pool here. They have an RC, radio-controlled airport for planes.
Yep.
They have a RC car track, and they have an RC truck track. So those are some things that I don't see that the Villages has here. So there are some things that On Top of the World has that even the Villages doesn't have.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, but they do pretty much have the same amenities, but because there are so many recreation centers here, people kind of think about, wow, there's so much to do and there's so many rec centers. Well, there's 170,000 people that those rec centers have to accommodate.
Yes.
You know, they have 12 championship golf courses. Yes, they do. But in the wintertime, the permanent residents, who this is their primary home, this is their permanent home, a lot of them even have problems getting on the golf course in the wintertime because we're on a point system here in the Villages. And so you're gaining points, you're gathering points throughout the year as you're playing golf. And then all these new renters come in with 0 points and they start fresh and they're getting a lot of the good tee times. So that's just, look, I'm all about, being upfront, and I'll tell you the good along with the bad in the Villages, right? So, yes, it's all about the party.
I'm glad you corrected me, because I think that's kind of, because when I think of the Villages, I think of the squares and all the clubs and stuff like that. So I'm glad you corrected me, because it really doesn't go down to the amenities at all. But the partying is like a step above the rest. So yes, the partying is really is the difference there. Yes, 100%.
And so when all the renters come and the snowbirds come, they're all about the party and having a good time. See, here's the reality of it all, folks, is that those squares are very attractive to anybody new coming to the Villages, to all the renters and seasonal people coming to the Villages. They have entertainment every single night. They have all that shopping. But it's a whole different story when you're here full time and you're here permanently. You resort to all of those recreational clubs that Jamie mentioned. Now, they have the same clubs in On Top of the World as they do in the Villages. They just don't have as many of the same. They have the same clubs.
It's just not as many variations of the same club, I feel like.
Right.
Yeah.
And because there's just not that many people there.
Right.
So look, On Top of the World is for some people. The Villages is for some people.
Yeah. 100%. I agree with that.
That's why both of them exist the way they exist. So, all right. So, Stephen, going back to your question, no more lottery in On Top of the World. So, yay for that. But, okay, so what are they doing then if there's no lottery? So this is what they're doing. They are releasing home sites to people. Now, the people who have been in the lottery the longest, they're going to offer them the first lots that come available. Then they're going to start offering, as people come in, you're going to be pushed out further and further and further into the year. So they might be out to May right now. But the advantage is you can go ahead and get a home site right now. And even if you're not ready to be buying a home, well, that might be great for you. You might go ahead and reserve a home site that now in May, and I'm just using this as a hypothetical, in May, you can come in and order your home, and then it'll be ready about 8 to 10 months after that, depending on the supply chain and if they can get the supplies they need to build these homes. So that's how they're doing it. No more lottery. Anybody who comes in today and wants a home, they're going to have to go to the end of the line. Now, but you can go ahead and get a home site today if you want one. It's just going to be pushed out to wherever they are. I don't even know if they're in May. I don't know if they're in April. Honestly, I have no idea where they are right now. We could always find that out. This is brand new. This only came out within the last 2 weeks. So because of the holidays and everything, I really haven't followed up with it to see exactly where they are with reserving home sites. But no more lottery.
Which you did have someone, when I was working here, they said that they wanted to do that when we got out of the lottery. They were like, because we don't need the home right away, and we would actually like some breathing room time to be able to get our home ready and sell our home and pack up everything. So It's a good idea. People have been thinking about doing it.
It is a good idea, and you can get a home site that you want today. And by the way, if you're up north and you're saying, hey, that's me, let me know. I'll go out there. I'll take a video of the home sites that are available. I'll do a drone where you can kind of see where it is in relation to other home sites. If it's on a retention pond, if it's on a golf course, whatever, we'll send you your own personal video of that home site if you feel like you're in the market. So like I said, you could be, right now, I would probably dare say anybody who wants to reserve a home site today, it's probably going to be February of next year, maybe March of next year before your home is going to be ready. So I'll find out for you. Reach out to us. Again, Christian, if you'll put up on the in our chat our office number. So I have some new help. Her name is Blakely. I don't know if any of you have know anything about Blakely. She's brand new. And Paige is still with me until the end of January. Then Paige is going to go do her own thing. She's actually moving down towards Tampa, where her fiance has a job. So she'll be leaving me at the end of the month. But she's training Blakely, and Blakely is going to be awesome. So you can let us know what you're interested in. And then this is our office number, and then you can talk to either Paige or Blakely right now, and they can go and give you all the information you need to know about a home site in On Top of the World.
You had a comment above Stephen, by the way.
Any availability in Pembroke Fairways? Oh, okay. Thanks, Christian. So, Eileen, what do you mean by availability? There are no new homes or home sites in Pembroke Fairways, but if you're talking about are there any homes available, we can certainly check that out for you. Pretty much homes are scarce across the board in any given community, but Pembroke Fairways does not have the advantage of supplementing their inventory with new homes, so you're only at the mercy of whatever pre-owned homes come out. And I think maybe the newest one in Pembroke Fairways might be 2007, if I'm not mistaken. So, but if you're interested, Eileen, call Blakely or Paige, and they'll get you set up to receive homes when they hit the market. Okay, so if we don't have anything right now, what you're interested in, get set up on our auto email. We'll plug you in, and then when a new pre-owned home comes on the market, call us, we'll jump on it, we'll get you your video, we'll do whatever we can to get you that home. Thank you, Christian, for that. I appreciate it. So if you had to guess, would you say that most people sell their home in the Villages, list with the Villages sales team, a real estate agent, or for sale by owner? I would say it's about 50-50 for the Villages versus somebody listing in the MLS, which is like where I work.
I'd agree with that too.
But a disadvantage of listing with the Villages sales office is the fact that the Villages sales office, their main priority is to sell new homes. Mm-hmm. So if you have a pre-owned home and you want to list it, and you list it with the Villages, you're competing not only with the listings that the Villages has in the pre-owned, but also in the new homes. And I want everybody to kind of think about this too real quick. Anybody who might be watching this, who might want to, who's thinking about where would you list the home? When I worked for the Villages from 2000 to 2009, we were bonused on how many new homes we sold. So we got bonuses, we got money for how many new homes, not pre-owned, but how many new homes we sold. And that's because the Villages gets more money per capita for a new home than they do for a pre-owned home. So if you think about it, the Villages will list a home and they'll list it for, let's say they list it for 5%. The selling agent gets half, they get 1.5%. The buyer's agent gets 1.5%. Okay, and then the Villages will get 2%. So let's say 2% on a $300,000 home is $6,000. Well, trust me, they're probably getting about $40,000 to $50,000 per new home. So yes, their priorities are in new homes. And I think more and more people are kind of learning that. And that's why we're capturing more of the market in the MLS these days. For sale by owners, there's a lot of people out there wanting to, do it on their own, but I think for the amount of money that you're getting for your home today, why would you want to try to sell it yourself? You're getting so much more money of what your home is worth today than, say, a year ago. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to try to save the real estate commission and risk? I did have one of my customers, Bob and Sherry. I just won't say their last name. Bob and Sherry got together. Sherry had her own home. Bob had his own home. Well, Sherry went to sell her home, and she wanted to do it for sale by owner. And she asked me if I would help her write a contract. And I said, sure, I'd be happy to do that. And, I did it for a fee. And so she got a buyer. And 2 weeks later, that buyer fell through because she wasn't qualifying these buyers. She didn't know what their circumstances were. She didn't know if they had to sell a home first. She didn't know if they could afford a home. So that, excuse me, the first buyer fell through. Then she went to a second buyer. I wrote the contract for her. We started going through the process, and that second buyer fell through. Again, because she didn't know how to qualify that buyer. She was just taking it at face value. So you know what they say, third time's the charm, right?
Yes.
So on the third buyer, she finally got it through. She's like, oh, Ira, I feel so bad because you put so much work and, you're only supposed to, do it for me for one buyer. This is the third buyer now that you're doing all this work for.
But that just goes back to the headaches that I was talking about earlier. That's another part of the headaches.
Yeah, so why with all this money you're making on a home today would you want to try to, avoid paying a real estate commission? So there you go, for sale by owners, Angie. And then the Villages and, the real estate agent. So also, one other thing I like to say about that. There are no Villages listings in Zillow, in Realtor.com, in Trulia, in Homes.com. And that's where everybody goes when they are first looking for a home. They go right to those online websites. The Villages only has their thevillages.com website, which is where you'll see their listings, but their listings don't go into Zillow or Trulia or any of those other ones. So anybody looking on those online websites are not seeing the Villages listings.
Angie asks how, if you look at the last comment.
I asked because we look at the Villages app to see what is available. How can we see what is available on the MLS? Again, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. You'll see only MLS listings. Why? Because those online websites draw from the MLS. Okay, and that's where they get all of their listings.
Or the automated emails that you get sent. That's a huge one. I am such an advocate for that, and I tried to get Rebel to start doing that because it takes the work out of having to find something on Zillow that you want or Realtor.com, and too, it's, I don't know, for me, whenever I go into Zillow or Realtor.com, I'm looking at all these amazing homes and wishing, you know what I mean? And then you're oh, I wish, I could buy that home, but it's $100,000 over what I want. Whereas these automated emails are going to be sending you exactly what you want. I mean, even down to the smallest criteria we can, put in there somehow. Usually we can put it in the remarks or something like that. Not always.
Well, that's key. That's very key. What you just said is the criteria.
Yes.
That you can put in when we do an auto search for you, an auto email search for you. We can narrow it down to turnkey, furnished,
yep,
semi-furnished, golf cart garages, block and stucco. We can really narrow down.
Even down to if a home's on a cul-de-sac.
Right.
Or an oversized lot, which is what a lot of people want. I mean, and I used to love going through and clicking through everything and narrowing it down and then finding all the homes. Oh, I like that one and that one and that one. So it's fun. So
it's a broad search on Realtor.com. Or any of those other online websites where we can go ahead, and not only that, but you'll get an email before it even hits Zillow.
Yeah.
Because we draw right from the MLS first, but it has to go through that third party before it hits their inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you call us and let us do an auto email for you, you'll get it as soon as we get it.
Yep.
So, and then if you have a notification on your phone, you'll be notified, you'll be sent an email, you'll be notified immediately and then we can jump into action for you.
Yeah.
So thank you for pointing that out.
Next one should be Michael.
Michael, any place without any type of HOA where you own your home and property? Oh, sure. Look, in this part of Florida is horse country, right? There's a lot of farms, there's a lot of land, there's a lot of communities that don't have an HOA.
Which I want to also point out, you can put that as a criteria in your auto email. If you don't want an HOA fee, you can go ahead and click that, and then you only get the homes with no HOA.
Exactly. There you go. She's absolutely right. And you don't find that search criteria online. So if you want one without any type of HOA, we can find that home for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Michael, thank you for your question. Sandy, if we see a pre-owned VLS listing, do you still help out with that? So here's what I'll tell you. Yes, I'll help you with that. I don't, look, I don't get paid for that, but I have extreme customer service here for you. I'm not going to just leave you hanging. Just because you're over there and you find the right home. And I had $1,800,000 customer. So they call me up. They go, hey, can you show us some of these homes in the MLS? Yes, I will. And then they said, we saw one in the VLS. Would you mind going over and looking at it with us? We'll pay you. We'll pay you to go over there and do that. I said, look, I'm not going to let you pay me. I don't want you to pay me, but I'd be happy to go over there and look at that home for you and give you my opinion. And it was a gorgeous home. It had a swimming pool. It had an in-ground hot tub. It had a view of a preserve. It was $1,800,000. Now, you can do the math on what 2.5 or 3% you can get out of $1,800,000. But I'm not going to just say no. I mean, I'm there. I'm here for you, because hopefully you'll refer people to me. Hopefully. And if you ever decide you're going to sell that home and you want to either downsize or upsize, I don't know how you upsize from $1 million.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a push.
But if you want to downsize, you'll come back to me. You'll remember me because, I'm not going to sit there and gouge you or charge you. I mean, I don't know.
I always say it always comes back full circle.
It does.
I mean, and it feels good to, you make a connection with people. It's not just a customer. You especially. I've met so many of his customers. I even called Miss Joyce. I called Miss Joyce today. Shout out to Miss Joyce. Called her today. I guess she was busy. She texted me and said she'd call me back. So you make connections. It's not just customers.
It's not all about the money.
No. And that's, I think, what sets you kind of apart from everyone is you make connections with these people. These people are your friends. You want to help them out. You want to make sure they get exactly what they're looking for. So I think that's what sets you apart from the rest.
I had a person out, Charlie. If Charlie is watching, I showed him a home in the historic district. And so we looked at this home. It was completely renovated, but it didn't have vaulted ceilings. And I was really talking up vaulted ceilings. So I think Charlie really wanted a vaulted ceiling. But he went next door and he talked to the neighbor. And he asked the neighbor, what did he think about this home next door? And Charlie said, the neighbor said, well, actually, I think this home on the other side of me is better than that home. And that home on the other side of him was listed with the villages in the VLS. I called the listing agent and I said, hey, I have somebody who's interested in the home. And, so I actually got Charlie in touch with them and met with the listing agent and Charlie. And we went and we looked at the home together, and I gave him my opinion and what I thought. So, since that's a huge advantage that I have because that listing agent was there when I was there. So I had her on my phone, and I said, hey, this is Ira, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. You have a listing over here. I have somebody who's interested in it. So it just works out really well, and I don't have any problem with going over there and giving. What's it going to take? An extra half hour of my time?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's just, like I said, it's just not all about the money for me. Any opinions on Solavita? So, yes, I do have opinions of Solavita. I have been to Solavita. I haven't been to Solavita in a few years, actually. I just don't see, Solavita just doesn't have what these other communities have. They don't have the organized, and that's key, organized recreational activities like On Top of the World and the villages have. All right, that's what sets them apart. They're very well organized. So Solavita doesn't have that. The surrounding area of Solavita's in Kissimmee. So that's a huge traffic area around Solavita. So, there's just, and look, don't let me, I'm just giving you not only my opinion, but I'm telling you what other people have told me as well. So, Solavita's not going to compare. Oh, Alaska John, cool, man. You stuck with us. I know he was all the way up there at the top. He was number 1 on here. I was hoping that he kind of stayed with us. But hey, don't just take my word for it. If you have the time, go over there and look at it. If you don't have the time, then there you go. You have my opinion. Kind of look around here. So I went to Latitude Margaritaville, which is an hour and a half away from me. That place is awesome, but they're 2 years out. If anybody wants to buy a home in Latitude Margaritaville, you're going to wait 2 years before you get a home over there. But that's an awesome, awesome place. I'm going to Villages of Citrus Hills on Thursday and showing some homes. That's an hour away. So there are other communities that I advocate for. But I'm going to tell you you're asking me my opinion. That's my opinion. So, but on top of the world, Del Webb, Stone Creek, beautiful, beautiful place. Smaller than what on top of the world is. So it's just a matter of what it is. That you're looking for. So, Patricia, Ira, can you compare the quality of construction between the Villages on top of the world and Stone Creek? So, let me just say this. On top of the world has the best construction out of the three. Why? Because they're very much attention to detail. They have a lot of insulation on the walls. They have a silver foil on the back side of their sheathing on their roof for more insulation. Every penetration point in construction where wires might go through is all filled with foam. I mean, I really respect the way that they build a home and on top of the world. So that's probably what I can tell you as far as quality of construction goes. They are attention to detail there. Also, what are the costs of the lots and on top of the world? So, the lots are all different, but I will tell you, if you want to be on a retention pond, so you have privacy, you're going to pay about $35,000 for one of those lots and on top of the world. Or Stone Creek has some really nice lots. And not only that, but they're bigger than what they are in the Villages. The Villages standard lot is 60 by 90. That is the standard lot in the Villages. Probably 75% of their inventory is made up of those 60 by 90 lots. The other 75%, and we're talking just homes, we're not talking villas, you'll get some on some retention ponds, on some water, on some golf courses. But a golf course lot in the Villages, I believe now is over $200,000, where a golf course lot in on top of the world is like 80 or 90. Okay, so huge difference. I can tell you, for an example, the Aberdeen is a 2,800 square foot block and stucco 3-car garage home on top of the world. That Aberdeen is $420,000 base price. You put that, you probably put about, I don't know, maybe 10% in upgrades. So let's say 400,000. So you're at 460. You put it on a retention pond. You're at let's say you're at $500,000 out the door. That 2,800 square foot 3-car garage home on a retention pond in the Villages would be around $900,000. And so that's just a comparison in price for you. Okay. Now that $420,000 Aberdeen is on an 80-foot wide by 130-foot standard lot. So all of them have room for pools in on top of the world. All right, so I asked because we look at the Villages app. Oh, okay, so Angie, thank you. We talked about that. Hello from the Florida Keys. So there's a guy rubbing it into us, huh?
I know. It was so cold today. Yesterday it was 80. Today it was like low 70s, maybe upper 60s. So
Kevin.
freezing to me.
Kevin, tell her what the temperature is where you are, Kevin.
I was so cold today. So yes, I would much rather be in the Keys.
And this is one going back to the Great White North of Tallahassee.
I am going to freeze for sure.
All right, let's see. All right, so Alaska John, thank you again for hanging in there with me. My sister lives in Margaritaville. It's not like the Villages, but nice. You know, again, all these communities have different attributes to them.
For sure. They each have their own give and takes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all in what you're looking for, to be honest with you.
That's why there's a variety.
Yep.
And that's why, you know, I used to be the Villages expert. All I did was deal in homes in the Villages for much of my career. You know, I guess
Yeah.
I'm in 21 years now, going on 22 years of working here in the Villages. I'd say at least 18.
That's what I was going to say, 18. Yeah.
18 of those years, strictly the Villages.
Yep.
But, you know, the more and more I worked with people and the bigger and bigger the Villages got, and so many people started kind of, you know, just turning their nose up at how big the Villages is and how busy, and I'm like, well, I got to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
So, you know, they were supposed to have stopped at 44, where Brownwood is, and that was going to be the end of new construction in the Villages, but
Yeah.
there's no end in sight now, and I don't know if the infrastructure is going to keep up with that. Kevin says it's 25 degrees.
No.
Teens in the morning.
Huh?
Teens that morning.
No.
He goes, I am on the road at 4:20 a.m. Ooh.
No.
Oh.
I would literally freeze.
So, C. Loker, where are you? It says 5 degrees and snow today.
For someone that gets cold,
And you want to complain about
I am
70.
I am legitimately cold realistically below 72. I am cold. Like cold. Need a jacket, wearing jeans. And Tallahassee, before I came home for semester break, it got down into the 40s, and I would leave the library and walk the like less than quarter of a mile it took to get to my car, and I would be so cold and shaking so bad in a jacket and jeans that I would have to sit in my car and defrost before I could go back to the library because I was so cold. And I was like in the upper 40s, like 50s.
Spoken like a true Florida girl.
I can't handle the cold. Everyone was mad that Christmas was hot, and I'm like, thank you for the warm weather.
Yeah. Panda Hughes, thank you very much. I'm joining late, but I'm here, and we're glad you're here. Thank you so
Better
much.
late than never.
That's right. That's right. Better late. So this is my daughter. This is Jamie.
Hello.
Oh, by the way, everybody, spell your name for them.
Oh, so I'm a Jayme girl.
Yes. And her brother calls her Jay.
Yeah.
So that's a family name. So my father's name was James.
Yep.
My wife's father's name was James.
Yep.
My brother's middle name is Jamie.
Yep.
My cousin's name is Jay.
Yep.
So there you go. We got a Jamie. So so Panda Hughes says, hi, Jamie. So hello from Southwest Florida. It's cool here too. So there you go. But the thing about the cold weather here, doesn't last long.
I know, thank God. I don't want, well, but what's crazy to me is, because I went to walk Sadie this morning, our dog, and it was 80 yesterday, and I stepped outside the garage this morning, and I was like, wait a minute,
What
it's
happened?
cold. Why is it cold?
Didn't hear that rain come through last
No,
night.
I didn't.
So, well, Pandy Hughes, I'm sorry to tell you, you missed a lot. We talked about different communities. We talked about
For sale by
for
owners.
sale by owners. What else? We talked about a lot about Jamie and her career and her going back to Tallahassee tomorrow. So, Kevin, you have got to be getting pretty close now, I think. Aren't you coming in February or buying something? I know Kevin's close to wanting to buy another home. We're going to have to start ramping it up here.
25?
Kevin, we got to start looking at them FSBOs. We call them FSBOs.
Yeah, FSBOs.
FSBO, for sale by owner. We call them FSBOs. It's almost a derogatory term.
I know.
Realtors don't really like for sale by owners much. Again, they're overpriced. Some of them don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
So those FSBOs.
Those FSBOs. But now we need the FSBOs because the inventory is low. So
We need the
we need to
FSBOs.
take what we can get.
Oh my gosh. Jerry says, hello from Manchester, New Hampshire. It's 25. Oh, you're having a heat wave there, Jerry. 25 here with expectation of 5 inches of snow on Friday. Woo-wee.
No. Mm-mm.
Loving subscribing to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're looking at the villages, but on top of the world sounds good too. You know what? And that's what we do. We'll take you around the villages. We'll take you around on top of the world. One thing I started saying, and I don't think I completed my thought there, but I can tell you for a fact that most people, I'd say 90% of them anyways, 90% of the people who move to the villages, they love the squares, they want to be around the square, but after about 4 to 6 months, the squares just don't have a whole lot to offer. They get crowded in the wintertime.
I just saw on, I think, the Village's news that they're having an issue because everybody that's come down, so all the snowbirds, are saving seats. So all of the year-round residents are getting mad because, they haven't had this problem until now. So.
And now you want to come down to our community and act like you own it or something?
Yep. And they're saving their seats and so.
No, that's not going to work. I'm set on the villages. Okay. Hey, we're here for you. So I'm still just waiting for my pension to be finalized. Sounds good. And then Kevin says we're looking, but I have 32 months to work. Oh, okay. Karen having surgery on the 20th. I wasn't going to say anything, Kevin, but, since you said something about Karen, I just want to wish you the best in your surgery. I know you're going to have a great outcome. So just hang in there, be strong, and I know it'll all be good. Okay? All right. So I think we have your mama waiting on us.
Yes. She told me to text her
Oh,
when we're ready.
okay. So we're going to be wrapping it up here. What is VOR and go?
I think it's SPAM.
Seriously?
I think so.
Okay. VOR and go.
I just removed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. All right, guys, listen. 2 weeks from today, we'll be back here. I'll probably be over there behind my desk again. We wanted this little round table session going on. Jamie will be back in her studies, winding down that bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
And working for the competition.
I come back when needed. I haven't given away your secrets.
That's
You're
good.
giving them away yourself.
Only how many people we have today, Christian?
Our top was 79.
79 people today. So I want to thank all of y'all for attending. Again, have a wonderful, happy new year. I'm so glad 2022 is here. Hopefully we're going to have a lot of changes. We're going to get back to normal around here. I think a lot of you may have seen my worst real estate market ever, and I'm telling you, everybody thinks it's so wonderful, but really, for a realtor, it's not easy. All the inventory, the lack of inventory, I should say.
Yeah.
It's a very, 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 very tough market right now, and I do my absolute best to try to get you all the home you're looking for. So Teresa, bye-bye. We'll see you hopefully next time, 2 weeks from today. And then Kevin.
Bye, Kevin. Stay warm.
It's always great. Kevin, he always stays up to date with me. and again, all the goodies that you sent to me, you and Karen.
Oh, I was eyeing those. I was wondering where those
See
came
all
from.
that stuff? That's from Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
January 17th is our next one.
January 17th, Christian tells us. And then Angie, thank you. It's nice to meet you, Miss Jamie.
It was nice to meet y'all as well. I'm glad I was able to come on and give a little bit of input.
Yep.
Spice things up in here.
Yep. And then maybe they can meet, Blakely sometime, huh?
Yeah, you should bring on Blakely. And maybe Paige before she leaves as a goodbye on the 17th. Maybe Paige could come in and say goodbye to everyone.
Some people are camera shy. I know Blakely would be very, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, don't scare her off too.
I was gonna say I don't know how she would feel about that. I genuinely don't know.
Oh yeah, we got to make sure she is comfortable and here and solid, and then we're gonna drag her in front of the camera.
We'll push her in the deep end.
All right, guys, thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate it. January 17th,
Yep.
Mark your calendars.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. So Sandy says, best wishes in your studies, Jamie.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then Panda Hughes.